very good day. I'm Miss Niwa and I'm the State Technical Officer for Poetry Recitation Secondary.
And I'm Miss Izan, State Technical Officer for Poetry Recitation. And today we are going to talk briefly about poetry recitation.
What is poetry recitation? A common question asked by all the teachers in this school. Okay, well, poetry recitation means you are actually conveying a message through a poem, which means you are bringing the words to life. Who can participate? Definitely the government-aided secondary school from Form 1 till Form 3. And always remember, each team comprises only 2 members. For the winners from previous year, yes, they can participate too. However, they are not allowed to use the stats.
Okay, similar to secondary, students must come from government-aided primary schools and only year 4 to year 6 pupils are allowed. But if your school are under-enrolled, you can ask your year 3 pupils to participate and the others are the same.
When it comes to the competition format, there are 2 sections for the secondary school. First, the prepared poem and next, the impromptu poem. Remember, all the participants are eligible for both sections.
Okay, the first one, the prepared poem section, the first section, participants will recite a prepared poem for secondary for not less than 5 minutes and not more than 7 minutes. And for primary, it's not less than 4 minutes and not more than 6 minutes. So for secondary, the first warning bell will be rang at the 5th minute and the second warning bell will be rang at the 7th minute. While for the primary school, the first warning bell will be rang at the 4th minute and the final warning bell will be on the 6th minute. Remember that the timekeeper will announce the time taken for each team right after your recitation.
As for the impromptu session, each team will be given a theme. Quarantine time for 10 minutes to prepare the impromptu poem. Not less than 2 minutes and not more than 3 minutes. That's how your recital should be. The first warning bell will be rang at the 2nd minute. Meanwhile, the final warning bell will be at the 3rd minute. Remember, you are not allowed to bring smart watches into your quarantine room. And the theme for 2024 is open, which means you can talk about anything. But remember not to touch the sensitive topics such as races, and stereotyping. You should also submit 3 copies of prepared poem to the organizer 2 weeks prior to the competition. Remember to type your poem in A4 size paper times New Roman or Arial font size 12. As for the uniform, only school uniforms are allowed. Students are advised to wear a blazer in order not to disclose their school badges to their respective judges. And as for the recitation for secondary school, you guys are not allowed to refer to any notes or printed materials during the presentations. No opening greeting. Just mention the poem title and the writer name. For example, The Silence of Echoes by Kirol. Train your students to, first, not to present a commentary of the poem, not to sing, not to use any musical instruments, props, or artificial sound effects. No excessive movement. Most importantly, no screaming. You are allowed to stress the word, but do not scream. And teachers highly recommend to train your students to write a poem in meter or verse expressing various emotions. For example, in shadows cast by ancient trees, the night reveals its mysteries, a world alive with hidden grace in every corner, every space. Various linguistics such as imagery, metaphor. Do not get confused with onomatopoeia. Onomatopoeia is a figure of speech where it imitates the sound it represents, such as buzz or crash. Decision? Well, the judges' decisions are final. No appeal is allowed. Individual mark will definitely not disclosed.
Next, look at evaluation criteria of poetry recitation. The first one is on content and language, and also the evidence of understanding. Okay, the do's for the content. Firstly, you must have a challenging content which have intricate diction and syntax, meter, and rhyme scheme, just like presented by Niwa. You should have like metaphors and things like that. And then you have to understand the poem fully. That is how you show your understanding. You have to understand the poem fully and understand every word and line. Remember, understand the poem fully is not the same as understand every word and line, but you have to understand both for you to deliver it very meaningfully. And then choose a poem that speaks to you. That's how you understand the poem. And then voice and articulation. The do's for this, you have to articulate, pronounce correctly. If you are not sure about the pronunciation, please check with the dictionary. You can just Google or anything just to check your pronunciation. And appropriate pacing, as in not too fast or too slow. Appropriately, just to deliver your message of the poem. And then appropriate volume, voice projection. Again, like what Niwa said, no screaming. There's a difference between screaming and projecting your voice. And then appropriate rhythm and intonation, because sometimes you tend to sing song, to deliver the poem in a sing-song manner, and that's not correct, because to deliver a poem is not by a sing-song manner. And then appropriate pause. You can pause, especially if it is in between stanzas or when needed, but not awkwardly or too long. Try to decide how long the pause needs. Next. And overall performance, like eye contact, body language, and poise. Okay, the do's, good posture. You need to have your physical presence. Your posture, do not slouch, do not fidgety. And you have to be confident. You have to show that you know your poem and you are confident to deliver it and you are confident to make everyone to like it. Then eye contact with the entire audience. Not just focus solely on the judges or like everywhere, your eye contact, and relax. Be natural, enjoy your poem, be at ease and comfortable with your poem. Lastly, dramatic appropriateness. Oral interpretation, remember, poem is about oral interpretation, it's not about dramatization. You can have appropriate occasional gestures, like not all the time or no gestures at all, and then appropriate intonation or tone. And the don'ts, remember, poem is not theatrical performance, it's not a dramatic enactment. Do not have overdone gestures. Do not have monotone delivery or too much enthusiasm and inappropriate tone and inflection. No singing, no unnecessary emoting, too sad or too happy. And lastly, do not act out the poem. And
Yep, that's all from us.
yep.